The Sports Renegades podcast on SportsTownChicago.com. Welcome into the Sports Renegades here on SportsTownChicago.com. I'm Ryan Stuprich.
And I'm Ryan Risky.
And yes, today we are talking about the Cubs to start off the show, as they've been on a roll lately. They just swept the Pittsburgh Pirates, which was huge, obviously. We kind of buried a hole for the Pirates, and it doesn't look like they'll be coming out of it anytime soon as they fall way under 500. And, the Cubs put, 17 runs on the board yesterday? Pretty crazy.
Yeah, and shockingly, I was not there.
No, of course. You were there, the day before, right?
I was there the day before.
Yeah. So that was interesting. And then, of course, today, they'll probably score like 2 runs or 3 runs. Hopefully they win. But it seems like after a big offensive explosion, the Cubs kind of have like a struggle the next day. Not like it's a big deal, because it's really not, but they seem to not score as many runs or don't score any, after they score a whole bunch.
Yeah, I mean, and you really hope that they can really get the bats going against Atlanta tonight, because they are coming off that big sweep of the Pittsburgh Pirates. And tonight they've got Kyle Hendricks going against Sean Newcomb.
Yeah, I mean, it was very important to sweep the Pirates, especially after losing 2 of 3 to Philadelphia. That was kind of not good. But then they got back on track and did what they did against the Pirates. Yeah, and now you have a 4-game series against Atlanta. You took 2 of 3 in Atlanta last month. So hopefully, things will be changing a little bit. Yeah, and we got to see Hendricks have a good outing. He's been pretty good ever since he came back. We saw him pitch really well against the Reds. He ended up losing that game, but he pitched really well. And he's been pretty good ever since that. So hopefully, what you like to see is Hendricks go a little further into the ball game. Hopefully go past 6, 7 innings would be great. And then, you can close it down after that.
Right, and then the pitching matchup on Friday is Mike Foltynewicz versus John Lackey.
Oh, okay.
And Foltynewicz has not been very good his last 4 or so outings. He's coming off an outing that he pitched 5 innings and allowed 1 run, except the previous 3 before that, he combined to allow 20 runs.
Yeah, I know to start the season he was pretty decent. And
he's been striking guys out. It says he throws a really hard fastball, and if it stays flat, people are going to hit it.
Right, so that'll be something to watch for, obviously, especially with John Lackey going tomorrow. Like you said, you definitely don't want to give up those fly balls that the Lackey's been giving up, those home runs and everything. But he's done a pretty good job in the second half. We can't really complain about John Lackey, but it'll. But obviously, there's 4 pitchers on the team that are better.
Right, and then Saturday you've got John Lester coming back.
Right,
facing Lucas Sims. So rotation's getting a little healthier. Hopefully, Lester is back to being Lester, because he certainly didn't look like him in that last start against the Reds.
No, he did not, and he's had a couple of those games this year. It seems like maybe every 4 or 5 starts, he just has a horrible outing. That game before the break where he gave up 10 runs in the first inning.
Yeah, only 4 were earned, though. I think that's something that a lot of people forget.
True.
There
was some bad defense going on that game.
There was some very, very bad.
There was some bad stuff going on. But they really got to figure it out. And how about Javier Baez? We got to talk about Baez. I mean, every game he makes a spectacular play, it seems. Last night it was the steal of home where the Pirates catcher, didn't do baseball 101. It didn't run Javier Baez back to third. Instead, he threw the ball, and then Baez just ran home.
Yeah, I mean, and even in the field, he's making plays that should not be humanly possible.
I know.
It's like when he dives, he's already getting up in the process of diving. Like, he does it all in one motion. It's not dive and then get up. he's so quick and so athletic. He's able to do it all in one motion and then make an incredible throw to first base.
Yeah, he had such a good play. I think that was Tuesday night where he dove and threw and got up in one motion, like you said, and threw to first.
And it's not just one or two times he does it. It seems like at least once a game now he's doing something crazy like that.
Right, and the best part is he's driving in runs as well to go with that. He's turning into a pretty good offensive player. He's cutting down on the strikeouts, which is the number one thing. And I really like him in the back of the lineup there because it's kind of surprising because, on a different team that doesn't have the hitting talent that the Cubs have, Baez might be batting fifth. He could even be batting fourth on some teams. He could be batting second, something like that. But on the Cubs, he's batting seventh or eighth, and it really works because you get that production at the bottom of the lineup.
Right. I mean, the only thing that hurts is when he's in front of the pitcher is that nobody's going to give him anything to hit, and they know he'll swing.
Well, true.
It does bring up a good point, and also when Wilson Contreras comes back, the lineup just gets deeper.
Right.
And honestly, I'm hoping when he comes back, Madden just slots him into the 5 spot because I really like the way Rizzo and Bryant have looked at 3 and 4. They're both driving in more runs.
Yep.
Because before,
especially with Bryant,
right? I mean, before when Bryant was batting second, whoever was leading off never got on base, and because you're always plugging in Schwarber and Zobrist, and now they finally kind of settled on John Jay, and whoever it was never getting on in front of him. So then the pitcher is before that spot, so he was coming up with the bases empty most of the time, and that was really hurting his RBI production. And now you've got Jay getting on base. And now they put Schwarber at second, so now he's seeing some more pitches to hit because they don't want to put him on for Bryant and Rizzo.
Right.
So I like the way the lineup is looking right now. I think they found the right balance.
Yeah, I definitely agree, and I like that Zobrist is getting less time just because he's struggled this year, and when you got guys like John Jay who can step up and fill a role, or guys like Albert Almora who could step up and fill a role, then you don't need to play Zobrist every day. He is getting older. He hasn't had a great season, although he is the World Series MVP. People forget about that too, but he's going to be playing less and less as we keep going.
He's not really helping his case. I know he did a nice job out of the leadoff spot on Tuesday.
Yeah, he did.
He had a base hit. Andy hit a home run.
Yeah, he got the scoring going.
Yeah, broke the scoreless tie, except, right now he just kind of seems more like a backup because especially, tomorrow is the September call-ups.
Right.
I mean, Addison Russell did suffer a setback.
Yeah, that was unfortunate, but
except with the way La Stella has been hitting, there's Zobrist just isn't hot enough to take La Stella out of the lineup. Really he's just going to probably be getting some time. When left-handed lefties are on the mound and you have to throw Schwarber on the bench.
Right, and you also got a good weapon and a switch hitter with Ian Happ, who's been hitting really well, too.
That's another thing. There's just not enough playing time. Even without Russell, there's just not as much playing time for Zobrist because La Stella's hitting. You're not going to bench Baez. Ian Happ has been hitting very well. He's been, he was in a little bit of a slump at the beginning of the month, and he seems
he already got to 20 home runs. Unbelievable.
He's the quickest Cub to 20 home runs.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
So, there's a lot to like, and the thing, that hurts Zobrist, even being as versatile as he is, there's just not room because when Russell comes back, he'll be at short, Baez will be at second, and then, you've got the problem, what do you do, with Ian Happ and Kyle Schwarber probably, rotating in left field because you've got Hayward in right, and then Jay's kind of solidified himself as the center fielder / leadoff hitter.
Right, because Almora's only going to be playing maybe once or twice a week anyway.
Right, and that's another
guy. It's mostly John Jay.
There's just not enough playing time.
Right.
And this kind of begs the question, are they going to re-sign John Jay? And it also begs the question, what could they do in the offseason potentially, trying to package Almora in a trade to get a starting pitcher?
Yeah, there's been talk about that. I don't know.
I don't necessarily think it will happen because it's pretty clear that Theo Epstein and Jed Hoyer are very high on Almora, and it all starts with his defense. And he's looked really good against left-handed pitching.
Yeah, he has. And of course, Schwarber's starting to hit the ball better too. So, yeah, the outfield is crowded. The infield is less crowded, but still pretty crowded. And, that's the price you pay when we got a lot of great players on the team. It's, obviously at some point someone's going to be gone in some sort of trade or free agent signing or something, or maybe they won't re-sign John Jay. I think it would be smart to re-sign him. I agree with that.
I mean, he fits in really well with this team, and this is the kind of team that needs a leadoff hitter, someone that'll set the tone, and John Jay has done that.
Right.
You really do miss Dexter Fowler, except, I mean, hindsight's 20/20 when you let him go, and
he's been having a rough year, but yeah,
he's been hitting really well in the second half. Mm-hmm. He would really good table setter for the Cubs, and and also Tommy LaStella could be another guy that's potentially packaged in a trade because he might be playing his way into a starting role.
Yeah, I never thought we'd be saying
and
that.
And it's unfortunate, for the Cubs because he's such a valuable weapon pinch hitting. Like him and Almora are two of the best pinch hitters in Major League Baseball this year, and that pinch hitting is something that you need as a National League team.
Yeah, it's definitely a really important role, and of course. Just real quickly, with Alex Avila, how we ended up getting him, and then Contreras went down. It was kind of like a blessing that we had somebody like Alex Avila to take his place.
Right, and he's done a nice job. I mean, when they traded for him, he was kind of in a little bit of a slump, and now that he's getting some more at bats, he's been looking pretty good.
Yeah.
The other part of that trade, Avila's battery mate, Justin Wilson, has had some very encouraging outings his past couple times out.
Yeah, we need him to do good to solidify the bullpen because Stroh's been struggling. Rondon is not reliable, and
the
Felix
bullpen,
Pena isn't
the
anybody,
bullpen is definitely going to be spotty going into October. The question is it going to be good enough this year? And it really just kind of depends how the season ends. Who knows? Maybe when they call up Dylan Maples from AAA, he dominates enough that he plays his way onto the 25-man roster for the postseason.
Yeah, that would be good.
I mean, and Justin Wilson, it seems like it was just kind of more of a mechanical issue rather than his ability or his talent. Because it wasn't like he was getting hit hard. The problem was he was walking guys. He couldn't throw strikes.
Yeah. And
his last couple times out, he's been throwing some more strikes. So hopefully he's kind of, they've gotten that mechanical issue figured out because he's a key piece to that bullpen in October because, he can get lefties out and he can get righties out.
Yeah.
Because right now, I mean, it is a kind of spotty. And we're running up against a break. However, when we come back, we're going to kind of tease, what to expect for the 25-man roster for the postseason. Who do we think will make it and who might not make it?
Sounds good. You're listening to Sports Renegades, SportsTownChicago.com. The Sports Renegades podcast on SportsTownChicago.com.